puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¿Se puede o no?
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Rudy Gonzalez, Teamsters 856, co-chair of the San Francisco Labor Council's Resistance and Action Committee.
And Betsy DeVos is the Secretary of Education under Trump. She wants to privatize, charterize all schools. How would that affect public education and working people in the United States?
You know, as Teamsters and allied with CSCA and SCIU and other organizations and the California Faculty Association and Teachers Associations, we've seen directly how charter schools will come in and starve local, good neighborhood schools from their funding and divert critical resources. We think that's a race to the bottom, just like outsourcing when they privatize those schools. Public education does need to be worked on, but it needs to be worked on neighborhood and community by community. We need to look at real funding reform, not outsourcing it and privatizing it.
A lot of these charter schools, in fact, none of them I know have service workers who are unionized. They want volunteers to work do the cleanup in these schools. I mean, it seems like it'd be the end of unions in public education.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I give credit to UESF, our sisters and brothers there. They've done a bang-up job at trying to actually organize a few charter schools, and they've prevented a lot of them from coming in under the guise of, great school opportunity for people in San Francisco. But, I think Oakland and West Contra Costa school districts are ground zero for this kind of thing. Just one day ago, we saw Rocketship get voted out. But these charters, they have a plan. They know if they get beaten locally, they'll go to the county office of Ed, and then they'll try to go to the state. So we've got to organize on a regional level.
Well, Governor Brown has supported charter schools. He has two of them in Oakland, military charter schools. The State Board of Education has approved charters which have been opposed by local communities and county school districts. What do you plan to do? What should be done about the fact that it seems like these agencies do oversight have actually been taken over by charter privatizers?
I think the answer is we have to think regionally and statewide to some of our issues. All too often in San Francisco and other communities, we're thinking about our next election cycle, our local legislative priorities. But these issues like housing, minimum wage, healthcare, these are regional issues, as is the charter school issue. We've got to organize in a new way and get more members involved to actually tackle this on a statewide basis.
And a lot of workers can't afford to live in the Bay Area. They can't afford to live in San Francisco. You have to be a millionaire or very wealthy to even buy a house. What is that going to mean for the future of working people in the Bay Area?
The housing crisis is probably the number one issue labor faces right now. All the gains and through struggle that we get in our contracts go to commute costs and to housing costs. You look at anywhere that's barterable these days, Concord is the next housing crisis epicenter. It's brutal. We have to look at community development agreements. We've got to get responsible developers to come in and actually provide true affordable housing. And we've also got to look at locally what we can legislate. But, in the end, I think we've got to find elected officials who are going to actually hold developers' feet to the fire, right? And work with them, bring them to the table, do things like project labor agreements, do things like, negotiate responsible AMI levels and banding so that middle-income people can actually afford housing in the area. But it's a comprehensive solution. Housing is one of those things that you can't just fix in San Francisco because San Mateo County is also impacted by it. A lot of our workforce in the Teamsters come from the East Bay. Now they're coming from Vacaville and
Solano
County.
2 or 3 hours on the road.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And there's a toll that takes on neighborhoods. People don't have time to be civically involved in their neighborhoods or their kids' school or the next charter school that's coming in, when they're spending 4 hours on the road.